Hey everyone, welcome back to I wish I could say the garden, but we're inside again today because like a lot of the country, we're still in an ice box. And since so many of us have been in this ice box for so long and now we have snow and ice on top of it, I thought I would take the opportunity to talk about some plants that I find in my garden I don't have to worry about. They're going to be just fine in these conditions. Our winter right now has probably been more like a 6 or maybe even a zone 5 winter. I'm in zone 7A, southeastern Pennsylvania. But for the last several weeks, it's been really, really cold. These plants have been under snow and ice. Now that will protect them a little bit, but it's been much colder than it should be for our area, as I think a lot of the country has been experiencing. So again, these plants are honestly just going to be fine. I'm going to go out into this garden, I don't know, whenever we defrost. That might be in a couple of weeks, might be in a couple of months, and find that these are putting on new growth, no problem. They're going to flower. They're going to go through fall with their beautiful fall colors, and they're going to go through next winter again. Now these plants are not necessarily, I don't know how to say this. I'm not going to talk about plants today that are like evergreens because I'm not talking about winter interest strictly. These are not necessarily deer resistant, although most of them are, and that is a concern in the winter. I've definitely been concerned about some deer damage in the past few weeks because since we are under probably about a foot of snow, the deer don't have anything to eat. So they're definitely hungry. But these plants, I don't need to worry about that at this time of the year. Although, again, in spring, summer, fall, I might need to worry about it. Although they're sold as deer resistant. And for the most part, they have been. These are plants that can handle really tough, challenging conditions no matter what you throw at them. And maybe you'd like to add some of these to your garden because it seems to me anyway that gardening is becoming an extreme sport. We're actually supposed to get above freezing today, which we have not gotten in, I don't know how many weeks it's been. It's absolute icebox outside, as you saw from that opening clip. I really wanted to get outside and at least try to get like a 30-40 second clip of the plants that I want to talk to you about today, but a lot of them are at the top of our property and it is just not possible to get up there at the moment. So I'm going to be talking about them inside today. Our gardens have exploded. Our property, our landscape has completely exploded since 2022. Some out of necessity. I've spoken about that in prior videos, but we have been heavily planting a lot of everything in the last 3 or 4 years. And the plants that I'm going to talk to you about today are plants that I don't have to worry about. With as much as our gardens have exploded, we have enough to worry about and maintain, weather permitting, February through December. Whether it's worried about whether they're getting enough water because we're not getting enough rain, or whether they're getting too much sun because we've had so many above normally hot temperature days as well as cold temperature days. We just have enough to worry about, disease and deer pressure and everything, that in January and February, when it's really cold and when I feel like gardeners should be resting, I don't want to have to worry about anything in my garden. So these are plants that I know in my experience that I've been able to plant and just not worry about them. So the first group of plants that I want to talk to you about are chokeberries. Now, I don't think that most people think of chokeberries as a landscape plant, but Proven Winners has been doing a lot of breeding to make them more amenable to home landscapes. And we do have several varieties planted closer to the house. We have Lowscape Mound, and we have Lowscape Hedger up on our top retaining wall. We have groundhog chokeberries in our top rain garden for erosion control, and we have red chokeberries up in our meadow. Now, they're two different varieties. One, the red chokeberry is just checking my notes, an Aronia arbustifolia. Did I say that right? Arbustifolia. Those are hardy from zones 4 through 9, and the other chokeberries, the Lowscape Mound, the groundhog, and the Lowscape Hedger, are Aronia melanocarpa, and those are hardy in zones 3 through 8. So that is a really large hardiness zone. They can take really, really harsh conditions in the winter, but they can also adapt very well to hot summers, hot, dry summers. They're great in moist, boggy sites, even though that's not what we're talking about them for right now. I'm just trying to establish how adaptable these plants are and how tough they are. So that's a really wide hardiness zone, 3 through 9. And again, boggy conditions, but also they are very drought tolerant. So let's take a look at some chokeberries. So this is the groundhog chokeberry we have planted in the path the water takes into our top rain garden. Great for erosion control because wherever one of the branches hits the ground, it kind of roots in. So great to stop the soil from eroding. Beautiful glossy green foliage, little white flowers in the spring, and if you're lucky, you'll get berries on this one. This is the 𝗟𝗶𝗸𝗲 planted at the edge of our dry creek bed for the same reason. Again, beautiful glossy green foliage, and they will root in wherever the branch hits the ground. In the top of this clip, you can see the 𝗟𝗟𝗶𝗸𝗲. Now, this is more of an upright shrub, 4 to 5 feet tall and wide. This one flowers the most for us. And again, because it's such a tough shrub, I don't pay a heck of a lot of attention to it. But it does tend to be full to the ground, unlike the ones that you're going to see in the next clip, which are in the fall, because again, I don't pay too much attention to them. This is the 𝗟𝗏𝗲𝗄𝗎 red chokeberry. They do get pretty berries. You can see evidence of that here. They tend to be deer resistant up here, again, where I can't see them from the house. I don't have to worry about them. They would be fuller to the ground if we pruned them more, but because these are in our meadow and it's an area that's wild, we just let them go, and they just really serve a great purpose up here. So the next plant that I want to talk to you guys about that I don't have to worry at all about this time of the year because they're so darn cold hardy are red twig dogwoods. We have 3 different types of red twig dogwoods. We have an ivory halo, which is a Siberian dogwood. We have Arctic sun, which is a European dogwood, and we have Arctic fire, which is native to the northeastern United States, I think even in southeast. And while I do have to worry about them as far as deer is concerned during the active growing season when they're fully leafed out at this time of the year, deer are not going to nibble on their branches. And again, because they're so darn cold hardy, I don't have to worry about the fact that they're out there in this freezing cold and ice and snow. They're going to be just fine. Most of them are hardy down to zone either 2, 3, or 4. So Arctic fire is hardy down to zone 2. That's incredibly cold hardy. Arctic sun is hardy down to zone 4, and ivory halo is hardy down to zone 3. It's kind of weird, isn't it? Because it's Siberian, you'd think it'd be cold hardier. But anyway, they all have these beautiful stems that we plant them for, whether it's red, whether it's coral, whether it's yellow, and I'll show you different versions of those. But again, they're so darn cold hardy that I don't have to worry about them. Again, I know when I go out there, whenever it is, they're going to be leafed out. They're going to have beautiful white flowers in the spring. Yes, the deer will eat them in the summer, but we don't really plant dogwoods for summer foliage anyway, although I wish the deer wouldn't eat them. It happens. And if you're lucky, you'll even get berries. So let's take a look at some red twig dogwoods. So here we have Arctic sun dogwood. We have 3 of them on our rain garden berm, and you can see how pretty the branches of this one are, corally, yellowy orange, which is kind of why I chose it. This one tends to get a little bit wider than it does tall. The leaves are more of a yellow green than a dark green, but they are absolutely gorgeous in the snow. They get little berries. This is the only one that I've seen berries on, where the flower clusters were, and you can see an example of that here. Just a really pretty tough shrub for tough conditions. Nothing I have to worry about. These are the Arctic fire red twig dogwoods. These are a much larger version. This one is a native. The Arctic sun is native to Europe. These are strictly red stems, and you do have to prune them every few years in order to keep those stems looking red. And in order to size control them too, the tag says 3 to 5 feet tall and wide. We moved these up here because they actually get quite a bit bigger. More like 7 feet tall by 5 feet wide. I've never seen berries on these, but again, that is not why I planted red twig dogwoods. They're just a tough shrub that can handle anything that you can throw at them. You can see the beautiful red stems. They show up even when there isn't any snow on the ground. And again, I don't have to worry about these. So next would be 𝗟𝗏𝗄𝗎. And I think maybe you'll see a theme here is that these are all native plants. Other than the ivory halo red twig dogwood, native plants are just more tough in general. They evolved in our environment and they're used to the temperature swings, the varying soil conditions. So that's why for my most tough conditions, I pick native plants. But 𝗟𝗏𝗄𝗎 are another one of those plants where it's kind of like set it and forget it. We have several different varieties on our property. Most of them we have planted for sort of moisture tolerance, and also just because they're beautiful. But we also have them, and they're in quite dry soil, never get additional moisture, and they do just fine. I don't have video really of that one because it's kind of closer to the street, and I just don't ever really go down there for video purposes. But I do have two to share with you that, again, just do well in all 4 seasons, and when it's really this cold out, I don't have to worry about them. So Itea is a small shrub, mostly in the 3 to 4 foot tall, 4 to 5 foot wide range. Most of them are hardy in zones 5 through 9. So really wide hardiness zone. They can take really, really cold conditions. They tend to grow mostly in consistently moist soil, even boggy conditions, which makes them kind of good for a rain garden. They sucker, so they could be good for erosion control. But again, because they're so cold hardy and our winters have been a little bit colder recently, I know that these plants are just fine. And although they are looking for consistent moisture, I have one at the bottom of the property, kind of close to the street, that gets full sun all day, full hot sun all day, especially in the last 2 summers. And you know, we've been in a drought for the last 2 summers. They don't get any additional moisture, and they do absolutely fine. They have beautiful little bottle brush flowers in the spring, kind of like racemes. So almost like a summer sweet, but a little bit more elegant, I would say. They kind of droop. Although the Fizzy Mizzy cultivar from Proven Winners, they are supposed to stand a little bit more upright. They get brilliant red color in the fall, which is another reason to plant them. And then again, in the coldest months, they're just fine. Now, I'm trying to think, because we have 2 planted up at the top of the property that I really don't see most of the year. If I don't go up there, I absolutely do not see them at this time of the year. They're pretty deer resistant. I don't have to worry about them being decimated by deer. Now, deer will, if they're hungry, they will nibble on anything, and that's usually young deer because they don't know what they're supposed to eat and what they're not supposed to eat. I don't think anybody puts a sign up for deer anyway, and if we did, they wouldn't follow it. But I've never had any issues with deer browse on the Itea. But again, I know I'm going to go out in the spring or even late winter, and I'm going to start to see new foliage and new buds. Actually, they bloom, I think they bloom on old wood, so their buds are probably already set. But again, because they're so cold hardy, I don't need to worry about them flowering. Their flowers are very fragrant. I have little Henry Itea planted on our bottom retaining wall, and when they're in flower, it really is, the air is very fragrant with that perfume. It's very, very nice. In the summer, they're just kind of like a nondescript, glossy green foliage shrub. The leaves are a little bit elongated, and they're just a really nice native shrub that can handle these tough conditions. So the final shrub that I want to talk to you about is Viburnum dentatum. It is a native arrowwood viburnum, native from the eastern United States all the way down to eastern Texas. They typically get 6 to 10 feet tall and wide. They are quite a large shrub. Ours have been planted, I think, since about 2019, and they're rather upright. And while they've gotten to be about 7 to 8 feet tall, they're only about 3 to 4 feet wide. I don't know. To me, they look very, very upright. So I don't know if ours are going to get to that 6 to 10 foot range. But we have the room for them where they are. If you're concerned about that, Proven Winners has a variety called Blue Muffin, which stay a little bit smaller. But again, they're hardy down to zone 3, so it's just incredibly tough. And again, I don't have to worry that this plant is going to let me down in the spring. I'm sure they're still going to leaf out. They're still going to get the beautiful little white flowers. And in the late summer, early fall, they're going to have beautiful blueberries. Again, I don't know if I mentioned, I can't see these shrubs from the house at all. So they're kind of like out of sight and out of mind. But again, come spring, I know I'm going to be able to go outside and find that they've made it through these extremely cold temperatures just fine. So let's take a look at them. So here they are. You can see them. This was this past fall, and how upright they are. They do get the beautiful fall foliage, some more than others. I think it depends on how much shade or sun they get. But again, they do get that beautiful fall foliage. And let's take a look at what the berries look like in the spring. In the summer, actually. These were taken in late July. And you can see they do really have these beautiful blueberries, and these shrubs were absolutely covered in them. I think this is the first year, which is why I took these pictures, because they really kind of shocked me. And you can actually see the foliage is quite beautiful. It's glossy, it's deeply veined, little pointy, just a really pretty shrub. It's disease free, there's no spots here, and I have to apologize for not having more video of this, but because they are so sturdy and worry free, I just don't really pay too much attention to them, and that's a good thing. So I hope the plants in your garden are doing fine in this extremely cold winter again, at least in those parts of the country where it has been extremely cold. And if not, maybe you can incorporate some of these plants into your garden so that when it does get extremely cold, you know you don't have to worry. Thanks for watching. Hopefully we'll see you in the next one. Bye.